Success is the key to happiness, when really, the key to happiness is success. One of the quotes used from one of the residents in Toastmasters, AJ. My first visit, I was scared, terrified on what was around me and who was around me. I went in with a picture in my head that I was walking among animals and I was being looked at as prey. It was uncomfortable and I didn't want to be there. That didn't change how I would speak to these men in the program called Toastmasters. I know a huge part of me coming to IREF was for the experience and participation in 3 of my classes, J101, Speech, and V100. Speech was huge in coming to IREF. At first, I had no idea I was going to be giving almost all my speeches that I had done for speech in Toastmasters as well. The first time I had went to IREF was in Bridge. We gave silly table topics where you were given a topic or a question, and right off the top of your head, you had to answer it. And you were on a time limit. I love those because they were funny at times, but some were really hard to answer, like mine. I had the topic, if you had the power to treat one huge disease, what would you cure and why? That was really hard for me. Second time around came, and us IUPUI students were giving our full speeches. Our speeches were our who am I's. This was a little weird for me to give because it was really hard not telling personal things about myself to that type of audience. One of the residents, Joe Ray, had given an amazing speech about manipulating power. He had my attention the whole time. He had taught me something without even teaching me. And that was that these men really are trying to make a difference in themselves. And not to judge someone as quickly as I did when I had my first visit. In J101, we learned about implicit biases. I felt my implicit bias all throughout my body, each and every time I got a full body pat down, walking along the sidewalks, getting stared at like I was a piece of meat, and even in Toastmasters. We also had to go in there with discretion. We had to be careful with what we said, because you wouldn't tell any of the residents your personal information for safety purposes. It may have taken me a long time to realize and control my biases, but I know now that there was a huge difference in the men in Toastmasters and the ones in IREF that didn't participate in the program. These men in the program weren't like the others. You could tell the members involved in Toastmasters had taken the time to learn about themselves and to find out the real person that was inside them. And they are trying, and that's something not everyone can say. One of the residents, AJ, once said a quote by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The true character of a person is not reflected on the comfort of convenience, but is reflected on the challenges and controversy. This was inspiring. These men had come up with such amazing speeches, you would not think they were residents. Once everyone had given their speeches, the residents had given us feedback on little pieces of paper, telling us how we did. Most of mine always said, "Your smile is contagious." I love getting feedback from them because who says we can't learn from them? We teach them, and they can teach us. I had to be an evaluator one of the nights for one of the residents, and it was Anton. He had an awesome speech with a beginning that started off as a story. In the end, I really got him because I learned in speech to never chew